Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Good morning and welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we're joined by Cathy Pollard this morning, who's a health and safety consultant at Pollard Saftey Services. So thank you ever so much for joining us this morning, Catherine. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, and thank you ever so much for inviting me.
Oh, you are very welcome. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to have a chat with us and share some experiences. So can I just start off by asking you, can you introduce yourself to us properly? Can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you guys do?
Yes, of course. So I'm Cathy Pollard and I'm a health and safety consultant, and the company is Pollard Saftey Services. And effectively, as a company, what we offer are things like audits. So they might be for media or small to medium companies where you need to understand where you're at with health and safety. And from there, they might identify gaps or good practice. And then you can decide what gaps you need filling, for example, carrying out risk assessments or carrying out training, and we can help with those. And we do a report on a sort of highlighted and priority rated basis, so you can decide what you want to tackle first. So that's the majority of what we do in the sense of audit and then help with the risk assessments. But we can also add in top-up training, so it might be specific training, or perhaps even for trades. For example, they might want ladder safety training, maybe fire warden training or awareness training. So we can do some add-on training packages to complement the overall package that we can offer. So I would say that really we sort of work towards small to medium enterprises, but also we can help with trades.
Brilliant. And so looking back over the last year, how has the pandemic affected you guys and what you do?
Well, it's been a strange journey really, because at first we got to sort of March time, and then the first lockdown hit, and all the businesses, including Pollard Saftey Services, went into sort of a shock. So everybody was like, right, stop working, what are we doing, dust ourselves down. So there was almost no business at that time. And then afterwards, as people started to hear more information and learn a bit more, and the government actually started to dish out their guidance, we decided that it would be a really good way of providing a bit of feedback or a helping hand to businesses. And we started offering low-cost COVID risk assessments. So small companies, micro businesses in particular, could just ring up and have a conversation about, how am I supposed to start working again? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to have in place? Because at that point, the government had funded the HSE an extra 10% to put more inspectors out to spot check businesses as well. So small businesses in particular are up against a rock and a hard place, thinking, I'm supposed to work safely. I don't know how, there's all this guidance, I don't know how to interpret it. So we did really low cost helping hand, and it was just a conversation starter and something to give back to other businesses. So we went through that phase, and then businesses started to get more confidence and started to go back to work, and business started to pick up, and those relationships that we'd built then started to come back and ask for more information, more guidance. And the biggest thing, and my passion personally, is health and safety can be perceived as a really dry subject, but for me, I want people to be able to just call and ask those questions they're not sure about, even if they sound daft or they should know already. There's no such thing. So we were really happy that people could just give us that call and just say, right, I've got this, what am I supposed to do with it? And then it's really helped. And then from there, business has started to grow. And coming back to sort of this end of the third lockdown, it's just rocketed. Everybody's so eager to crack on, that, yeah, all those relationships we've built have just become huge. So it's been really, really nice story to tell, I suppose.
Fantastic. So what was probably the biggest challenge that you guys had to overcome?
Online, because yeah, not just from an IT, but yeah, from an IT point of view. But no, online, because a lot of what I do in particular is to go to clients and see then clients at that point were saying, better not, no visitors. So it was like, well, how, you still need to be compliant. The HSC have allowed a few sort of leeways, if you like, but you still need to be compliant. You still need to follow guidance and make sure that you're getting all your inspections carried out and so on. So, excuse me. So from that point, it was really interesting to see what we could do online. Excuse me. Yeah, to see what we could do online. So we started to do like Zoom training. So even where people couldn't get back to work, we could do top-up training and help fire wardens refresh their training online. And that helped. And I did a few audits online as well. So it part 1 and part 2. So we could talk about, provide me evidence. Here's an online Dropbox or whatever it might be that you can pop your documents in. We can review those documents, see where you're at, talk to you to understand what you do as a business. And then as soon as we're able to, we'll come in and have a visit and do a little mop up of all that information. So you're still getting that compliance and you've still got that reassurance that you know what you're doing. So it was the online thing, but it worked really well. I think you've got to think outside the box and keep asking yourself, what do the customers want? What do people want? And think where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. So with that in mind, what other kind of adaptations did you guys make and changes did you make over the last year?
Well, I think predominantly, as I said, it's about the online conversations. But I think what probably a lot of companies have learned this as well, is that everything started to become about Zoom or Teams, which is honestly a massive, huge tool now that people didn't really know existed before. So that's been the biggest adaptation. But I think it's also knowing when to not use that. Yeah. So, for example, you can spend all day saying, right, I'll book one Zoom in, another Zoom in, another Zoom. And then before you know it, the whole day's gone. You've got a massive headache because you've just been staring at one focal length all day. But I think it's important you can have shorter, quicker and more meaningful conversations if you use the good old-fashioned telephone. And of course, we've done a few visits and I've done a few training sessions out in people's car parks in their yard. Because then you can still get people. You've usually got more space because there's less business, less vehicles, but you've got the car park to still do that training and have that conversation. So probably those two aspects, to be fair.
Brilliant. And what's been a really big win for you guys? You mentioned that you guys have built fantastic relationships with your clients, which is testament to you in that everything's gone in this direction, as we come out of lockdown. But what's been sort of the biggest win for you?
I would say having those or doing those low-cost COVID risk assessments has been one of the biggest things that we did, because we just were able to have a lot of small, meaningful conversations with a lot of people. And those businesses have come back and said, now we're up and running, can you help us with the health and safety? Because we now know you. We know that you're personable and we can talk to you, and we know that you'll tell us what we actually need to do rather than something that we don't understand and don't know how to interpret. So that's probably been, I would say, the biggest thing for us. But from that has also led a lot of referral of business as well. So where we've had business relations with various companies, they've gone on and said, right, well, actually, we know somebody else that needs your help as well. And they've been happy to refer the business. So it's grown off of its own back as well.
Brilliant. So how have the team been over the last year? How have things affected them?
Well, yeah, it's been quite tough, because I think communication is key. So we're quite a small company, but communication is absolutely key. So again, it's not all about Zooming. It's been about short, sweet telephone conversations, pinging those texts and emails, and group WhatsApps. My goodness, that's really good. Where people, because in any case, the people that work with me are remote workers anyway. So we're quite used to having remote conversations, but it's about making them short and more frequent. That's worked a lot better, and made it a bit more personable as well, because it's how you're feeling has got to have been in there as well.
Definitely. Of the adaptations that you've had to make for the team and for the way that everybody works, Are there any that you think, do you know what, actually we're going to keep hold of that moving forward, we're going to continue to do that?
Yes, definitely. So a lot of the remote thing, I mean, I've developed relationships with clients down south, because I'm based in Barnsley, but down south I've now got clients that I wouldn't have had before, and so I've expanded my network of maybe associates that I pull on to help me. And I've had somebody look at a fire risk down towards Kent for me, so I've actually, the network that belongs to the company has probably been a really good tool for us that we will definitely carry on pulling on in the future.
Brilliant. And what about for you as a leader? How have you had to adapt your style over the last year?
Well, I suppose my ethos has always been, you get out what you put in. And if something's not working, life will always dish you challenges. You can't escape for that. But you get out what you put in. So if something's not working, think, how can you change? How can you adapt until it does work? Because I think if you don't have the drive, or you're not willing to think out the box, then you're going to back yourself into a corner, and you're going to very much limit yourself and limit your business. So I think the fact that I'm already that way inclined has helped me enormously, to be fair.
So what kind of, as we emerge into this new normal, what kind of challenges do you foresee?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. At the moment, I think it's just about listening to the clients and understanding what they need, because they're the ones that feed our business, if you like. And it's about understanding and making sure, because they're chomping at the bit to get back to business, and they're chomping at the bit to grow themselves. So it's about listening to what they're saying to know how they're going to grow, because if I don't understand them, I can't adapt my business to suit them. If I just went off on a tangent thinking, oh, this is what I'm going to do, it may not fit what's actually happening in the real world. So I believe we've got 2 ears, 1 mouth, and we need to use that in that proportion.
Fabulous. And what do you think the team are most looking forward to as we come back into as the world starts spinning again, we've got a little bit more normality? What are they looking forward to the most? Stability,
I would say, because after such a rocky, challenging year, people are wanting to, and the team are starting to just want that stability. So how much work have I got coming in? Is it stable? Am I still going to, have a future for not? Because I'm sure a lot of companies thought that in reality. We all wondered how we would survive and if we would survive. So yeah, stability and growth have got to be the ones, to be fair.
Fantastic. And what would you say, sort of looking back over the course of the pandemic, over the last year, with everything that you've learned and all the experiences that you've had, if you could go back and do it again, what would you do sooner? Yeah, we don't want to do it again, but what would you do sooner?
Do you know what? I'm one of these people, I don't look at life like that. People talk about, oh, do you have any regrets in your life? But I always feel that, as I said, life will dish you challenges, and who knows what challenges we've got in the future. You can't afford to look at life like that. Just see what you're dished with. Let's see what the facts are, and then try and challenge those facts so you can get out what you need out of it. So yeah, I don't think like that is the biggest bit there, I suppose. It's always, life will bring you challenges. Don't think it won't. But when it comes, just make sure you're listening so you can see which way is forward.
Brilliant. And what would you say is your biggest learning over the course of the last year?
Oh, that's a tough one, really. I'm not sure. I don't even know if I could answer it, because there's been so much. All of it's been the whole year. Am I allowed to say that? Yes. The last year, that's been my biggest learning.
What about for you as a leader of the business? Do you feel that you've learned anything about yourself as a leader over the last year?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
and flex and
hugely, because before I'm very much a facts and data person. So what are the facts? What do we have to deal with? But the last year has been more about people. And that's been a good element to learn and focus on more, because we're not robots anymore. More than ever, we're not robots. We're so flexible and adaptable. So it's really been huge for me to say, right, come on, we all mean something. And without the people element, we're not going anywhere. So yeah, what do people need? What do all the people need, from the team to clients, even on a personal level? I've talked with some clients that have just needed a chat in amongst the business that we've spoken about, because everybody's just brain fried and frazzled emotionally as well.
Yeah, completely agree. And what does the future hold for you guys?
So I think the future, again, it's to do with stability and growth, and listening and learning. So all we want to do now is, the clients that we've built up over this time and before, want to make sure that they are nurtured as well as the business growing, because we don't want to lose that. If we start to grow too fast, it's always a balancing act for any business. If we start to grow too fast, then the relationships that we've got, that we pride ourselves on for service, they could fall by the wayside. And that's something I'm determined I don't want to happen. So it's that fine balancing act of trying to grow but keep the stability with the customers and clients that we've got.
Brilliant. Well, Cathy, thank you so much for chatting with us and for sharing your experiences over the last year. It's really valuable. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below, and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.